Good afternoon and welcome to another vlog from me, Paul, Addict Mentor. I spent 27 years in active addiction, and when I say it almost destroyed my life, what I mean by that is it made me end up spending 22 years in prison, breakdown in multiple relationships, time spent in on the streets, sleeping in car parks, sleeping in shop doorways, sleeping in night shelters. And in 2019, I had finally had enough. And I told myself that I needed to get my life in order, needed to get straight, because I had been using and relapsing for maybe 10 years. So that was 10 years of trying to get clean and sober, but my relapses used to come thick and fast. So when I got clean and sober, I knew I had to have a rule, a set of tools that I can use at any point. And I want to share with you today my rules of what to do after you have relapsed. Now, what is a relapse, first of all? It is a lapse back into an old behavior, a behavior that is not good for you, that is unhealthy. So for me, relapse would be going back to using heroin and crack cocaine on not just one occasion, but one that leads into another. It's so you're kind of slipping back into your old behaviors and full-time addiction. So I've wrote my little rules, and if it's okay, I'll share them with you. First thing you do after you've had a relapse is reach out for help. Reach out for the support from the people who you know can help you. This is so important because if you don't reach out to the right people, the wrong people are going to come in and they're going to tell you that it's okay, that relapse. Just have one maybe a week, maybe have two a week. Don't worry because you've got it under control now. You're not an addict. You can have a use up. They're the wrong people to seek help from. You want to seek help from other people who have experienced addiction and that have come out the other side. Other people that know what it's like to have a relapse, but they're there to catch you. They're there to bring you back up because that's what the people who you should have around you now should be offering you. If they are still people in your circle that think it's fine for you to be using, they're not the people you reach out to. And my advice to you would be distance yourself from them because it's only gonna bring you down. If you attend groups or online, offline, ensure that you get back to it. If you are in a routine, ensure you get back into your routine. If you come on 9 a.m. on TikTok every morning and watch me as part of your recovery, make sure you get back to it. Don't worry about being embarrassed. Don't worry about people looking down at you. Don't worry anything like that because if you recover using a non-active approach or via smart recovery and you come and check my stuff out, you'll know nobody gets judged. Nobody gets judged because let me tell you this, everybody fails on the way to greatness. Some of the most magnificent people in the world, the most successful people, had knockbacks, had slips, had falls, hit bumps in the road, but they got back up, they got back into their routine, they started what they should be doing, and they did this. They reset healthy boundaries and they reminded themselves of the risks. Now, when I say remind yourself of the risks, I mean the risks of the consequences of your using. Because it's not just your health risk. You know, me, I was an injector. I was an IV user. I used to use needles. So every time I put a needle into my arm, into my neck, into my face, yeah, in my face, I knew I was at risk of overdose and dying. I knew I was at risk of blood-borne diseases. I knew I was at risk of losing an arm, losing a leg. But that was the madness of my addiction. The madness of my addiction told me that it was okay to do that. And I'm here now to show you that there are other ways. You can be amazing people. You can achieve the greatest things in the world. My life has changed immeasurably. I'm telling you, I can't measure it. It's so much has happened. I've been on TV, I've been on the radio, I've been on the news. I'm being offered so many things, and that's because I reset my boundaries. I got everything in order. I reminded myself what was important, because the last time I used was a relapse and I'd lapsed back into addiction. So here I am, 4 years, 9 days, clean, sober, non active in my addiction and living my very best life. But you have to have boundaries. You have to know you can't associate with the negative people. You have to know you can't go to certain areas in your town. You can't go to the old pubs because you know there'll be people there sniffing cocaine off the tables. There's so many things you have to set in place. But trust me, the rewards are out of this world. I wake up every morning, my kids come in, they give me a cuddle. I got my partner next to me. I got a hot coffee brought to me. I am just so bloody thankful, because the alternative for me was waking up in a cell on a metal bed with a mattress that thick, having nothing, having no one, hoping someone in the outside world would pick up the phone. So my boundaries are set. I know the people I have around me. I know the places that are safe for me to go. And as you go longer into your sobriety, into your recovery, into your non activeness, you will be able to move some of those boundaries slightly, never putting yourself in risk, but you will be able to move forward and start really living and not having to worry so much about going here or going there. Because once this all gets set into place, cravings disappear. The stress of seeing other addicts disappear. You start to be able to live your best life. Right. Engage in self-care. You know what I mean? I talk about this a heck of a lot. When you use, you just let things go, let things slide, and you just like the beards come, the showers stop happening, brushing your teeth every morning stops, because when you're in active addiction, the only thing you want to think about is scoring, is getting high. Who's got the best drugs? Where do I need to go to make some money? And that is why self care has to come back into the forefront. Self care means looking after yourself physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, across the board. Then next, we have to go to talking about and reflecting on your relapse. So you know what you did wrong, because relapses only happen as a result of not doing something that you know has been working. Like I've just said, you can move the boundary, but maybe because you moved that boundary a bit too soon, that was the slip, that was the mistake. So then you have to take yourself back a few steps and go, right, this is where I am. That's how I know what was going wrong, and I can change it. But you have to talk about it, and you don't need to be embarrassed about it. Reach out to your support network. If you're in NAAA and you have a sponsor, reach out to your sponsor. Reach out to that important someone. Reach out to me. Email me. Check out pauladdictmentor.com and you can find me. And then finally, develop a plan to avoid further relapse. Develop a plan. And it is a bit of writing. I would write it down, because I write lots of bits down. I've always got bits of paper with stuff written on it, right, all the bloody time, because that's what I do. and that's what keeps me safe. I hope this little talk about the behaviors you need to display after having a relapse really helps you to understand your brother, your sister, your auntie, your uncle, your mother, or your dad, or your gran, or your gran, whoever it is who's suffering from addiction. I really hope this helps. Remember, my name is Paul Addict Mentor, and I do run one-to-one sessions. I do talks. I am willing to go into schools, colleges, universities. I am not embarrassed. I am not ashamed about what I do. I am recovering out loud from heroin and crack cocaine after 27 years of using. After 22 years in prison, I have finally managed to get clean, sober, non-active in my addictions. I want to thank every single one of you who watch, who like, who comment, and who share my posts. And I want to say hi to everyone else as well. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll be speaking to you again real soon. Peace, love, and unity.